you like Marvel, the MCU, and all things superhero or comic book related? Then sit back, get ready to enter a place separate from space and time. It's time to enter the Quantum Corner. What is up, superfans? I'm your host, Matt, and this is the Quantum Corner. For today's video, we're talking Wandavision. Episode 7 just dropped, so we're going to break a little bit of it down, and then at the end, I'm going to talk about some possible spoilers and theories that I have for the show and the future of the MCU. So I will give fair warning before, in case you want to step away. Now, if you haven't seen the show yet, and you don't want to know anything, now's your chance to go. Okay, so episode 7 opens up with a very modern family type theme to it. Also, in the credits, we see it's very much like The Office. Both shows take off from the interview style in between takes. I really liked what they did with this show. I thought that was really funny. I liked the way they did the interviews. One interview specifically jumping ahead when they're interviewing Vision, and him and Darcy are on the way to go back to Wanda, and they keep getting stopped by pretty much everything under the sun. As Vision's sitting there, he's like, wait, what am I doing? He takes his microphone off and gets in the truck with Darcy and then goes to the roof of the truck and flies back. We're assuming he's flying back to Wanda. But I thought this was just a really hilarious scene, and I really liked it. Right from the start of the show, we see that Wanda's powers are really glitching, she's having problems, things are changing. Not to mention, her mental state is definitely an issue. This is when Agnes shows up and offers to take the boys. Which, I don't know about you, but when she offered to take the boys, I just felt something wasn't right. If you're like most comic book fans, we've all assumed that she would be the character Agatha Harkness, which later is revealed. Let's talk about that really weird antidepressant commercial. Nexus. Okay, the Nexus in Marvel goes back to Adventures into Fear number 11. This is where the character Jennifer Kale and her brother Andy actually find the Nexus, and it's somewhere in the Florida Everglades out in the swamps. In this story, the character Man-Thing actually helps protect the Nexus, and when a villain named Krog comes through, he actually sends him back through the Nexus. Looking at what's going on in the show, also with the future of Doctor Strange 2, I think this is going to play a huge part. The Nexus is a gateway between realities, and I think it's something that's going to come into play very soon. Now I want to talk about director Hayward. We see that Darcy finds Project Cataract, which actually shows that Hayward was trying to bring Vision back all along, and we're assuming that he was trying to use Vision as some sort of weapon. So in actual reality, he wants to get Vision back. That's why he's so focused on Vision, even to the point of tracking Vision through the Hex. Now, all along, I kind of expected Hayward to be some sort of villain in this show, and possibly maybe in the future of the MCU. So Monica finally makes it to her engineer friend, which the internet was blowing up with who this could possibly be. Some people thought maybe it could be the Blue Marvel, some people thought it could be Reed Richards. When we found out it was Major Goodner, I think we all kind of sighed a bit. Now, the only Easter egg I could find for a Goodner was Dr. Goodner from the show Growing Pains. So could this just be a slight nod towards that? I guess we'll have to wait and see. So Monica meets with the engineer friend. She gets a vehicle to drive through the Hex, which we see does not work. She gets out kind of by the skin of her teeth. But as we've seen in the show, Monica Rambeau never gives up. So she ends up pushing herself through the Hex once again. We get a really cool scene of all these different things, different voices from her mom and Captain Marvel, speaking to her through her life as she fights to break through. As she's coming through, we see her eyes light up, and I think we know that this is coming to her being the actual character Photon. She makes it to Wanda, but as she's talking to Wanda, and Wanda's getting upset and starting to sparkle red, we do see her eyes light up again. I think this is another nod showing us that she has been changed. And again, like I said, Photon is an incredibly powerful character, very much like Captain Marvel, with some other really cool abilities as well. Okay, so in the midst of them talking and Wanda almost getting calmed down, Agnes shows up right at the perfect moment to take Wanda away. Now, we've seen a lot of this through the show where she shows up at the exact moment that something's needed or Wanda needs a diversion from somebody who's talking to her. At the end of the show, we get the big reveal, which many of us, I think, knew already. Agnes is Agatha Harkness. She even gets her own credit scene, which shows that she's kind of been in control of this thing and manipulating this thing the whole time. And yes, she even killed Sparky. Now with Marvel, things are never this simple. So I do believe Agatha has a motive in this, but I don't believe that she's the entirety of what's going on behind the scenes. My question is she only trying to get what she wants, or could she possibly be being manipulated by someone else, by a greater villain? My other question, as Wanda goes into the house and we see that she is at least somewhat controlled by Agatha, does the house have some kind of a spell where their magic doesn't work there? We saw earlier in the scene when Billy was telling her he liked it there because it was so quiet, was his abilities being blocked. Could this be how she's controlling Wanda? Something really cool about episode 7 was we actually got a post-credit scene. Monica Rambeau is searching for Wanda. She comes to Agatha's house, finds an entrance to the storm cellar. We see her open the doors, and then Pietro shows up saying, "Snooper's gonna snoop." Now Agatha admitted to controlling and manipulating, and even to the point of sending Pietro. So is Pietro just a controlled victim, or is he something else? There's been a lot of buzz on the internet about whether it's Nightmare or Mephisto. Now, we've had 2 major Easter eggs pointing to Nightmare, one from Pietro himself and one from director Hayward. Okay, I'm going to issue a spoiler warning now because some of the stuff I'm going to talk about may very well lead into the future of the MCU. And in case I get it right, I want to give you guys ample chance to back out of the video. Okay, so first off, what happened to the twins? We haven't seen them since Wanda showed up. In the Halloween episode, Pietro calls them demon spawn. In the comic books, Wanda's children were actually shards from Mephisto's soul. So is this leaning towards Mephisto? Now it's very much pointing to Agatha being the main villain, but with Marvel there's always a twist. And I really believe that Agatha, though she may have a dog in the fight, she may have something she wants or something she's trying to get, I think there's a greater evil that may be manipulating her as well, teasing her with something she wants to get what they want. Now, are they going to use the twins as leverage, or are the twins part of this plan as well? Is it going to be a rebirth of Mephisto? Okay, now let's talk about the Nexus. As I mentioned before, the Nexus is something that connects all realities. Is this a situation where they need Wanda's powers to help open up this gateway or a rift into the multiverse? Is this how a character like Nightmare or even Mephisto is going to come into our reality? And if they do open the Nexus and bring someone like that over, is this going to cause a dimensional rift where other beings and other realities are going to cross over? And I think this is exactly how it's going to tie into Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness. It's going to cause all kinds of chaos. There's even been rumors of Spider-Man 3 having a multiverse aspect to it. Is this how different realities with different Peter Parkers combine? But only time will tell how it all plays out. Alright guys, well that's the end of this video. Don't forget, subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, and I always appreciate your comments and feedback. Thank you so much for watching everybody, and stay super.